Hey, greetings, everybody. Pastor Tim, Martinsburg Union Rescue Mission. We're blessed today to have Marsha with us from WEPM
That's
Radio,
right. Good
and
morning, everyone.
and Marsha does a great job for us, and we've been blessed. Marsha has partnered with the mission now for many years. I think almost 4 years now. She's partnered with the mission, at least with me, since I've been here, and had us on the radio and all the different stuffs. My trips to Ukraine, my all the stuff's going on here at the mission. In fact, we were blessed last time we were on the radio with Marsha and Luke. Um, we got back from the studio up there at WEPM. A person called and made a very large donation to our box truck uh, goal, and we were able to purchase our new box truck. And just because we're on the radio again, getting the word out, and Marsha and Luke and the WEPM had blessed us for many years doing those kind of things. But today, I want to talk to Marsha about Marsha. And Marsha, how long have you been with the radio station?
Well, this year it will be 25 years. I didn't work full time. I started as a part timer, took a long time off to be with my kids as a stay at home mom, and then kind of eased my way back in. And I've been full time for close to 5 years now. Came back on full time during the pandemic, and stories like that are such a blessing.
Yes. And well, now you say your children, you have three grown daughters now?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
three.
Three grown
We
daughters?
survived.
Yeah. I know I have four, trust me. Trust me, I know. Boy, do I know. How long have you and your husband been married?
It will be, hold on, I'm trying to do the math. It'll be 33 years this year.
That's awesome. And your oldest and youngest daughter, how old's your oldest?
My oldest, I'm using the future terms, but my oldest will be 27 this year,
Yeah.
and my youngest will be, hold on, I'm doing the math, 22.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so now you've been with the station 25 years, full time now for a while. What are some of the neat things that happen that you enjoy about your job?
Well, I have to say, because, when you told me that story about the box truck, I was just blown away because God just works.
Yes.
And, it's not a Christian station.
Yeah.
And it's not my station. I work there, but, it's great to have the opportunity to bring some of the stories like the rescue mission story to everyone. But some neat things happen. And when you told me that story and I told Luke that the box truck had pretty much been bought, and someone had been listening to the show, I said, well, I guess that beats the potato story.
Boy.
So a while back, probably a decade ago, I was doing the show in a bit of a different capacity because I was still at home with my kids. I was pre-recording a few days a week. And we ran the show around noon. And we talked to folks from Loaves and Fishes on a given show. And someone was listening, just going through the area, happened to pick up the signal. And he worked hauling things on a truck. That day he was hauling a huge load of potatoes. And for whatever reason, he couldn't get it to its destination when he ran it through the agriculture department. And he ended up donating it to Loaves and Fishes
That's
because he
awesome.
heard it on the story, on the show. And I thought, wow, someone was listening so randomly. That wasn't by any kind of coincidence. That's a God incident.
Oh yeah, and not only that, I know when I've done my mission trips to Ukraine, your radio station has been very vital in getting the word out and receiving funds because again, people hear the story on the radio station and stuff. Now you talk about, can you share with us your spiritual journey a little bit?
Sure.
Because I
So
know off air you've talked to me about your pastor and your church and stuff.
mhm.
Uh,
When I was little, my mom and dad took us to church. I remember very small being sitting in church, drinking my bottle, and trying to squint my eyes during the prayer because I knew I was supposed to close my eyes, but I didn't. It was so hard. And so we went when we were very small, and then loved the pastor. And apparently, I wasn't aware of all this, but there was a split, and there was a time that my mom and dad didn't go to church. And so during that time, one of his friends, it was probably about 4 years, maybe the gap, one of my dad's friends uh, was visiting for church, bringing church members, and he decided to come up and see our family with a group of other folks from the Nazarene church downtown where I grew up. And they invited us kids to church. I was so excited because God had been working on me. I had always been interested. I missed church. And I remember being so excited. Someone had given us a bag of clothes that the night before. And I remember going through that bag and there were church dresses. And I was so excited to get dressed for church. And that kind man, a friend of my dad's and his wife, drove us kids to church before the church was big enough to have a bus ministry. He drove us for the better part of a year until he talked my mom and dad into getting back into church. And they did. And we all became a church family. And I got saved, I think I was 9 or 10 during a youth service. And, I remember sitting in Sunday school and hearing the proverb about, if you're not wise, you can listen and ask God. He's not going to turn you away. You can ask him for wisdom. And I thought that was the coolest thing, that you could pray and ask to be smarter and to be wiser. And those kinds of lessons just resonated with me. And I can see God just led me through all the days of my life, reading the Bible and responding. And I wasn't perfect, but I know when I was very small, I had impulsivity and I had anger issues as a small girl. And I remember the Holy Spirit working with me on that. And it transformed me, knowing Jesus transformed me.
I know, like, every time there's a lot we talk about off air a lot of times, and I could see that in your life as over the years that I've come up there, and I've seen that in your life, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you giving us the chance to share what the mission does, because like you say, we are different than a lot of other nonprofits.
Right.
Our philosophy is different than some other nonprofits that receive government funding.
We bring a lot of folks onto the show, and some of them are doing very hard work
Yes, they are.
in the field of recovery and addiction, and some of them have suffered addiction themselves. And I know they're coming at it from a different angle, but what the rescue mission does is unique in that what you offer is transformative.
Yeah. And we do appreciate you giving us that opportunity. Now, what are some other opportunities you've had to do on the radio? Because I know you're very involved in the community and you see a lot of things ahead of time. And of course, you get to talk to a lot of range of people, politically, business, and everything. What are some of the things you've enjoyed over your 25 years?
Well,
I also know you've received a lot of awards. You've received a lot of awards for what you do, and that's a good thing, because that lets you know that what you're doing, at least you're doing it at a high standard.
it's a huge responsibility. We don't take that lightly. What we put out, we try to be as honest as we can and forthright, and put news out that is as accurate as we know how. Does that mean we always get it right? Of course not. But I'm always humbled at how open people are to talk to us. We have so many people in law enforcement that come and tell us things about breaking news. They trust us with their stories. We have, of course, a lot of folks who are lawmakers and political big players that come in and talk because of the range that we offer and the listenership, which is that's very humbling that they come on and tell us that as well. But one of the best things that I get to do is just let people tell their stories. I love those stories. We had a local couple on who sell on eBay. And they were able to, the dad and the family was able to stop working his full-time away from the house job, and they're able now to provide for their family. What a neat story that is. We have a great relationship with a lady who's elderly. She's blind and she's a marathon runner, and she comes on and gives us updates. And those are the kinds of things that are happening in the Panhandle that we get to tell people about.
Yeah, and it is good. It's a uplifting show, and I know sometimes you have to do challenging interviews. I get that because of the stuff that goes on, but it's always uplifting to listen to the program and listen to you guys. Before we end this up, is there anything you would like to share with the audience that maybe they don't know about you, or something that you just want to share about you or the radio station?
Well, I just hope folks know when they listen, there are real people behind the mics, and we do the best that we can every day. And if you've got a story that you want to let folks know about, or breaking news, you can always get in contact with us. I know folks have a lot of questions when something breaks. There's a big wreck out on the interstate. We try to follow up on all of that. We are blessed in the Panhandle to have great folks working for the local newspapers, and of course here at the radio station we have some TV presence, not as much as we used to have, but there's a lot of news that happens, and we appreciate folks who trust us with those stories.
Yes. And Marsha, we want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to interview you and get a little bit more to know about you. Patrick, if folks want to donate to the mission, what would they do?
Just head to the website, MartinsburgUnionRescueMission.com. You can click on that donate tab that's right at the top of the page, and it'll walk you through the process. Remember, we do have the box truck campaign going on. We're still a little bit short of what the goal is, and we also have some of the other campaigns in there. Our Give a Smile campaign for healthy teeth is still going on, as well as the Douglas Woodmeyer Education Fund is still in there as well to help us improve the program participants' educational benefits that we're able to provide to them.
And Marsha, if there's somebody wanted to get a hold of you at WEPM, how would they get a hold of you?
You could actually go to panhandlenewsnetwork.com, and there's a link to contact us through the website, or you can reach out via email at mkavalik@wvradio.com.
And then, folks, you heard it. And Marsha is really good at getting back to you. I've bothered her many a times on vacation, and I shouldn't have. She is very good at getting back to you within 24 hours. So I would encourage you, if you got a news story or anything, send it to her. Hey, folks, until next time, this is Pastor Tim. God bless, and thank you so much, Marsha.
Of course.